AEW President Tony Khan says that Shane McMahon is always welcome in All Elite Wrestling after recent rumours suggested that McMahon could be open to becoming All Elite. An update on the future of Ricky Starks in All Elite Wrestling, as well as reported pitches that he turned down from creative. Hangman Adam Page could be set to return to AEW television very, very soon, possibly participating in the Owen Hart Men's Foundation Cup tournament. Hiroshi Tanahashi will be competing at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view this weekend, facing off against the Elite and renewing his rivalry with Kazuchika Okada. Minoru Suzuki appears last night on AEW Dynamite, adds some confusion to a match at Forbidden Door, but also possibly sets up a match for AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. Switchblade Jay White advances in the Men's Owen Hart Cup tournament last night on Dynamite. MJF and Will Ospreay face off with Daniel Garcia as another big match is teased for All In at Wembley Stadium. The reason behind Tony Schiavone disappearing midway through Dynamite last night is revealed, and Buddy Matthews and Rhea Ripley get married. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about Tony Khan commenting for the first time on record, publicly anyway, about Shane McMahon to AEW. Certainly a bizarre, strange story that feels like it should exist on an ultimate timeline somewhere else in the multiverse. But the wrestling rumor mill churned out another topic of conversation recently when AEW commentator Jim Ross said that he thinks Shane McMahon joining All Elite Wrestling could potentially work, despite how crazy the idea sounds at face value. Now, speculation then began that McMahon had actually reached out to talent within AEW about joining the company. This was actually put out there by Jim Ross's co-host Conrad Thompson on his Grilling JR podcast. Now, since then, these claims have been shut down from sources within AEW saying it's news to them, as well as AEW President Tony Khan, who reportedly stated that he's never spoken to Shane McMahon ever. However, that doesn't mean the most forbidden of all doors is locked for good, as Khan recently discussed McMahon in an interview with Sports Illustrated. He said, quote, "I heard the rumor he might be interested," Khan said. "I've never met Shane, but we have a lot of mutual friends. I have a lot of respect for him as an executive and a professional wrestler. Shane is always welcome in AEW," end quote. Now, McMahon was last seen in a wrestling capacity at WrestleMania 39 back in 2023, arriving as a surprise to have an impromptu match with his old rival and tag team partner, The Miz. Unfortunately for McMahon, the match never really got going as Shane tore his quad muscle performing a leapfrog and was hastily replaced in the match by rapper Snoop Dogg, who pinned the former WWE champion. McMahon has since stayed away from the limelight to rehab his injuries, as well as possibly wanting to distance himself from the business due to the ongoing lawsuit involving his father, Vince McMahon, and former WWE employee Janelle Grant. But given Tony Khan's comments there, do you think there's actually even a possibility that Shane McMahon could become All Elite? Has the ball begun to get rolling over what was initially just a wild rumor? Let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section below. Now, so many people are wondering, what is going on with Ricky Starks? We haven't seen him in AEW for quite some time. Is he under contract? Isn't he under contract? Has he fallen out with the powers that be in AEW? What is happening when it comes to the former FTW and one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions? Well, Ricky Starks is in the rumor mill after being absent from AEW TV for quite some time. Now, a Reddit post conjured up discussion and memes speculating that Starks had run into legal trouble in Calgary last year and had constantly rejected pitches within AEW. Now, the now deleted but widely circulated post led to Fightful asking about a number of these points that were raised. Fightful Select say they did reach out to sources within AEW and on the roster who claim that Ricky Starks turning down pitches to be on screen is accurate to some degree. Now, another source with direct knowledge of the situation claimed that breaking up with Big Bill and feuding was the only pitch in the last several months that had actually been rejected by Starks. Now, Fightful say they can't speak to the claim that he wasn't even listening to pitches, as that wasn't broached or answered by any source that Fightful spoke with. Now, those that criticised Starks within the company claimed that he didn't want to do business, despite those involved in the storyline hoping it would launch Big Bill as a huge heel and Ricky Starks as a big babyface. Now, it was said that Starks didn't think that Big Bill losing a feud to him would end up being beneficial to Bill and wanted them to have an amicable split if anything. The original Reddit post did cite that pitch, suggesting that maybe there was some possible truth to the matter, although other things were quite far-fetched. Now, Fightful have been told that last year, when Ricky Starks wasn't booked for All In, there was concern within AEW of a fan backlash or reaction. So instead, they ran with that suspension storyline, and that's why Starks wasn't on the show in storyline. Now, Starks reportedly wasn't in favour of being in a tag team at that point, but particularly he didn't like the lack of a follow-up to his match with Bryan Danielson, of course, that took place at All Out. Now, those that Starks had talked to said he felt like the end of last summer was a big turning point in how he was booked in AEW, and that CM Punk's departure from the company slowed down his momentum. Of course, Starks had won the Owen Hart Men's Foundation tournament last year. He was set to face off against CM Punk at All Out, but then, of course, Punk was fired. He ended up facing Bryan Danielson instead. After that, he pivoted into this tag team storyline with Big Bill. As far as his health, according to Fightful Select, Starks is said to be medically clear. There has been conflicting information internally regarding Ricky Starks and Tony Khan being in contact fairly recently. Internally regarding nearly everything Starks related, there seems to be conflicting information based on who you speak with. Now, Fightful say they've not heard that there are any imminent creative plans, which could obviously change at any point. It's pro wrestling after all. Now, regarding the rumours of an incident in Calgary, numerous AEW sources in the company deny ever even hearing of this, and AEW didn't comment in an official capacity. Ricky Starks claims he was never in legal trouble in Canada. Everyone that Fightful have spoken to that was named in relation to the alleged incident claim that it didn't occur whatsoever. Regardless of what did or didn't happen, Fightful have been told that nothing ended up being filed, and there were no issues with him entering Canada as he's competed there since then. Now, Fightful say they've reached out to local authorities, but did not get any information and weren't told if they could disclose such at the moment. If it did occur, which isn't out of the realm of possibility, everyone alleged of involvement denied it directly to Fightful. Now, in regards to the widely speculated rumour that he wants to go to WWE, there are certainly people within AEW who do believe that to be a fact. However, there is no firm information on Ricky Starks' contract with AEW at the moment. Now, Fightful say they reached out to AEW and Ricky Starks regarding all of the elements of the story. It's worth noting that this is one of the more conflicting stories that Fightful have covered in regards to information and each source's personal stance. So certainly at the moment there's a lot of conflicting and confusing information on Ricky Starks. The only thing you can confirm that as of right now, he's not on AEW television. He is medically cleared, and again, if we get any more information in the future, we'll of course let you know. Now, Hangman Adam Page, this is one person who is set to return to AEW television imminently. Now, the Young Bucks have announced that they are inserting a wild card into the Owen Hart Men's Foundation tournament and bringing the world title back to the Elite. And the announcement led many to suspect it to be Hangman Adam Page, who's been absent since AEW Revolution. Page has been out of action for contractually obligated personal reasons, and he hasn't been injured, and Fightful Select have been told that AEW was always aware that he'd be making his return by late June/early July. Now, it's important to note that creative plans can always change. As I mentioned earlier on, it is pro wrestling after all. So Fightful say they can't specifically report that he will be the wild card, but he was discussed for the tournament. He's also been planned for an early July return as well, ahead of his absence. Now, let's talk about Forbidden Door. Let's talk about the Elites, as we're speaking about them right there. And a big trios match announced for Forbidden Door, including the AEW EVPs as well as Kazuchika Okada. The Forbidden Door between AEW and New Japan is open wide, with a presidential surprise coming through it. On AEW Dynamite, AEW World Tag Team Champions the Young Bucks and AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada challenged the Acclaimed to a trios match at Forbidden Door on Sunday. Now, the Acclaimed accepted, but their Hall of Famer compatriot Billy Gunn announced that he would not be teaming with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, instead opting to bring in New Japan Pro Wrestling president and Okada's chief rival Hiroshi Tanahashi as the group's third member, then playing a video of highlights of Tanahashi hitting his trademark high fly flow. Now, Tanahashi and Okada have a storied rivalry which dates back all the way to 2012, when Okada unseated Tanahashi as the IWGP Heavyweight Champion for the first time. The rivalry, which followed, included numerous Wrestle Kingdom main events and IWGP heavyweight title matches, becoming New Japan's top rivalry of the 2010s. Tanahashi was one of Okada's final opponents during Okada's farewell tour from New Japan earlier this year. Okada defeated Tanahashi on February 11 in Okada's final New Japan singles match before joining All Elite Wrestling. Now, speaking of Forbidden Door, there was a bit of confusion regarding Chris Jericho's match this weekend. Now, the learning tree Chris Jericho is set to compete in a 6-man tag team match at Forbidden Door, but the identity of one of his partners remains a mystery after the events of Wednesday's AEW Dynamite. Now, Jericho and his disciples, Big Bill and Brian Keith, were officially challenged to the match by Samoa Joe, Hook and Katsuyori Shibata over the weekend on AEW Collision, and multiple outlets had previously reported the match was in the works for the crossover pay-per-view. However, Keith appeared on Dynamite with his arm in a sling as Jericho scolded his opponents for laying out a challenge to an injured man. He then played a video response, which he hadn't even seen yet, from Minoru Suzuki, who was partnered with Jericho on both previous Forbidden Door cards and who Jericho assumed would also partner with him this time. Now, to Jericho's surprise, however, Suzuki dismissed the learning tree gimmick and said he wanted a singles match with Jericho instead, with the FTW Championship on the line. Now, the segment caused some confusion initially as to what Jericho's Forbidden Door match will actually be, but an AEW social media post shortly afterward appears to confirm that the 6-man tag is still on, though Jericho may still have to find a partner by Sunday's pay-per-view. The title match with Suzuki presumably could take place later on this summer, possibly at the upcoming AEW All In pay-per-view inside Wembley Stadium, possibly for the FTW Championship. We'll have to wait and see indeed what happens with that. Now, Switchblade Jay White, he is advancing in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. The men's Owen Hart Cup tournament continues to breathe with Switchblade for the time being, as the Bang Bang Gang leader Jay White advanced to the semi-finals by defeating Rey Fénix in a first-round match on Wednesday's AEW Dynamite. White's semi-final opponent is yet to be determined, but will either be Jeff Jarrett or mysterious wildcard competitor who seems to be a member of the Elite and is widely suspected to be a returning Hangman Adam Page. Fénix put up a fight in the match that saw both his lucha brother Penta El Zero Miedo and other 3 members of the Bang Bang Gang ejected from ringside by the referee. The former AEW World Tag Team Champion countered White's Blade Runner finisher not once but twice, but White ultimately hit it on the 3rd attempt and also covered Fénix for the 3 count. After the match, White and the Bang Bang Gang, who also hold the unified AEW World Trios Championships, were confronted by Christian Cage and the Patriarchy. White is the second wrestler to advance in the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament, joining Fénix's Death Triangle partner, the Bastard Pac, who defeated Claudio Castagnoli in the first round and will face the winner of the Forbidden Door match between Shingo Takagi and Bryan Danielson on June 30. The winner of the tournament receives an AEW World Championship match at AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. Now, speaking of All In at Wembley Stadium, matches were teased for the pay-per-view last night on Dynamite involving MJF. Will Ospreay, Daniel Garcia and MJF have been circling each other in the past few weeks on Dynamite in a complicated dance that has seemingly taken MJF and Ospreay's eyes off their upcoming matches at Forbidden Door. On this week's Dynamite, Garcia interrupted MJF early in the show, leading to MJF challenging Garcia to a match at AEW All In at Wembley Stadium on August 25. Before Garcia could answer, AEW International Champion Will Ospreay interrupted, also saying he had an eye on both men. This led to a match being made between Ospreay and Garcia on next week's Dynamite in Chicago, Illinois' Wintrust Arena, which will be for Ospreay's International Championship. And should Ospreay defeat AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door, the world title as well. While the MJF vs Garcia match is not confirmed, the possible double title match next week is very much confirmed. Should the All-In match be confirmed, it will mark Garcia's Wembley debut, as he was absent from last year's historic event. So what do you think this means? What do you think is going to happen when it comes to MJF and All-In? What do you think is going to happen next week when it comes to the International Championship? Let me know your prediction for that one too. Now, some were wondering what was going on with Tony Schiavone last night. On last night's AEW Dynamite, one commentator started the broadcast at the desk, but mysteriously disappeared and did not return. When Dynamite began, Tony Schiavone was on commentary with his usual partners Excalibur and Taz. However, after a commercial break, he was no longer at the desk, and it was noted by Excalibur that he would be returning. Tony Schiavone did not return for the duration of the broadcast, leading fans to wonder what had happened. We now have answers from the man himself, as Schiavone reacted to the concern for his absence on social media. Writing on Twitter in response to a fan inquiry about where he went and if he was okay, Schiavone said, quote, "Lost my voice. It was giving me problems all weekend. Thanks for asking." Several different AEW stars ended up filling in on commentary alongside Excalibur and Taz for the rest of the show. Of course, we wish Schiavone the best and hopefully he'll be fine for this weekend's Forbidden Door. And finally, some nice news when it comes to Buddy Matthews and Rhea Ripley. WWE superstar Rhea Ripley and AEW star Buddy Matthews have announced they have got married. Ripley posted a photo of the two kissing on social media, revealing revealing that the couple got married on June 23rd, 2024, saying, quote, "Till death, 23/06/24, said Ripley's comments, along with the photo you can see on the screen right there. The Australian couple started dating in 2022 and got engaged last year. A recent report revealed that Matthews was written off AEW television on June 15 on AEW Collision so that he could return back to Australia to spend time with his family. On the show, Matthews was attacked backstage by the patriarchy to write him off television. So congratulations to the happy couple, and we wish them nothing but the best. But there you go, guys. It's the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.